I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Good morning, everyone. It is Championship Sunday from the Saville Grand Prix here on Curling Stadium, Edmonton. My name is Shawn, Joyce. I'm joined by Jim Nix. Men's and women's actions both on the ice this morning. We've got the quarterfinals on the men's side. Kevin Cooey against Kenan Wipf. A couple of Calgary-based teams who played each other earlier on in this event. And Jim, you said you were calling that game. You had the round-robin matchup between these two teams.
Yeah, we did, and really quite a good game. The Wipf team played quite well, and it was tied up playing 7, and just without last rock, Wipf came up short, trying to force Cooey to take one, and he ended up with an open hit for 3, so that kind of blew that one up. But up until then, it was dead even, really, these two teams.
Well, we'll expect another strong game this morning. You certainly know by the time you get to Sunday that everybody's playing well. These are the teams that made the playoffs in a round-robin competition. Cooey came through with a record of 4-0, so by virtue of his record, he's got the last rock advantage here in the opening end of play, throwing the Yellowstones, and they have been playing shorthanded all week. Aaron Sluchinski, the new player at second for the team, is off playing at the mixed doubles qualifier. So they had played a couple of events shorthanded before they named a fourth player. This is not a new thing for them.
Yeah, it's been more the norm than the unnorm thing. Yeah, and it looks like Wipf will be playing with 3 today too. At least that's what it seems like early on here, which he didn't. They had 4 when we did their game earlier in the weekend.
Tyler Tardy, the left-hander, so this is his out turn, looking to split the house, sit 3 for now. This just makes it harder for me when you got two teams with 3 players. Can you call them third stones still? Because they're neither team has.
Yeah, I go with lead and third. I skip the second somehow. I don't know why. Just that's the way I've got it. So could probably go by what position the people normally play, I suppose, but I don't want to get that confused.
And I'm not as familiar with the Wipf team, so when they're short, what I'm trying to figure out who's out on the ice. I think that was the normal third, Kai McCauley, looks like.
Yeah, you're right. And
no, it's not. It's Michael Kenan.
Right.
I can see the jacket, so yeah. McCauley might be the one missing.
Yeah, it's interesting. The lead name is Max Cinnamon. So Max is definitely out there. He's got the man bun sort of happening in the back of the cap, so easy to distinguish him.
Yeah, he's got he's got the kind of hair where he wouldn't be allowed to play seniors. That's enough hair for the whole team.
Yeah. I've been having a hard look at this one, trying to make a decision where he's best to go. Trying to multiple removal of stones here is what he's trying to do. He'd like to be able to get the 3 if he could manage to find a way to do it here.
Yeah, and I think he must have decided that red stone is second shot. It's close, right? It's hard to tell. If it wasn't second, he could simply draw to the open side again. He doesn't even have to hit this, but it must have decided it's second or it's too close to be sure. So he's going to make a play at this red stone at the back. Will move it through the rings, but just a thin piece of it. The shooter rolls out.
Yeah, a chance to maybe get out of big trouble here for Wipf. And one of our live chat individuals has told us that Kai is out with knee issues. I can relate to that.
It's good to have that confirmed because the way this season has gone so far on the Bonspiel circuit, you can't guarantee that a player didn't get fired from a team middle of a Bonspiel.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. There's been a lot of conversation about the playing with 3 too. I don't know where it's all going to go, but certainly there's been a lot of chatter about whether or not it's right, wrong. Shouldn't you be allowed? All that kind of thing.
Yeah, and that goes back to last season, even with Scott Howard and a few other cases of it as well that I saw, but probably most notably Scott Howard winning the Ontario Tankard, playing the entire thing with only 3 players.
Yeah. This one looks pretty good.
Aggressive call here to just play this as a draw.
Just left that a little bit too long, I think.
Yeah. Now, the saving grace for Kenan is where that ended up. It's easier for Kevin to get at it from the intern side, and from the intern side, he's got to get all the way to the nose to pass it by the yellow at the back.
Yeah.
If he could get to it from the outturn side, he only needs about half a rock. He could roll open, he'd be fine, but it's overburied from the outturn.
And not known to be a fast player, and certainly this weekend with no clocks, it's a little bit helpful for him. But it's he's managed to survive all of many close encounters with the time clock ending.
He has.
Yeah.
It's just my observation, and it's in a small sample size, but I feel like they've played faster with 3. And I just think it might have to do with just one fewer voice, because he does invite input from the other team, the members of the team, and that's some of where the delay comes in. Not everybody's always on the same page. It's the nature of the game nowadays. There's usually more than one shot option available. Yeah. They will discuss them all. Don't think this is going to get by the guard, but he wants to hit it thin and maybe get the shooter into the house if he can. A little thicker than he would have liked. Now, he does still have second and third.
Yeah, it was fortunate that he hit it that thin enough too that the red didn't end up sliding into the 8-8.
Well, that's true, yeah.
Yeah.
But mind you, if he hits the red just a sliver thinner, he might be second, third, and fourth. And that red at the back, vulnerable as it is, would look a little more vulnerable. This is a big shot for Kenan Wipf. You've got to get this in for, at least second shot. You can't leave a double.
No, definitely not. That's the one thing you've got to be, when you're playing Kevin Cooey, that's probably the one thing you have to be more aware of than with almost anybody else. I mean, he's just known to throw more good doubles than anybody.
You can probably, even if you're just edge to edge with the guard, you're probably not leaving any kind of double unless you're deep. That would be the only mistake. Your top 8 foot anywhere on this, edge to edge with the guard, I don't see there being any kind of double available because it would jam.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's reasonable.
And he can go anywhere from there right down to just corner frozen. It's got a lot of room right now, so you see Max switch sides. If he's going to brush now at all, he's got to brush for extra curl. If this slides behind the yellow out in the open, it would leave a double. This has got to stop. Oh, I think it did stop just in time.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it wouldn't be with any risk potential here to play it. So
hard to not jam at least one of the two. That slides a foot deeper though. It's a double for at least 2, maybe 3, if he can get it over the top of the other yellow. He's going to play the hit, but this is just a hit for 1.
Yeah, looking at it pretty hard, just probably getting the right weight in his mind as to what he wants to throw. Tyler Charlie played very well yesterday, too, in the game or whatever day that was, Friday, I guess, in the game that I did. Tyler was, last time I saw him, he struggled a little bit, so it was good to see him have things back in order.
So final stone here, opening end of play. Kevin Cooey with the quiet out-turn hit facing 2. Needs to stay on the center line side. He doesn't have much room to roll to the outside. Makes the hit, does stay right there. Kevin Cooey picks up his single point here in the opening end of play. He has the 1-point lead. Kenan Wipf will have the last rock in the second.
Don't forget your brooms.
You got it.
Come on up. Okay, well, what do you got? You got 1, you got 2, you got...
Just one more throw, please.
You make moments like these possible.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
It's the Saville Grand Prix from the Saville Community Sports Center. Quarterfinal action on here Sunday morning. Shawn, Joyce, Jim Nix with you live. Kevin Cooey with a 1-point lead after the nice hit on his final stone in the first. Kenan Wipf with last rock as we begin play here in the second.
Yeah, that first end certainly changed around. At one point, Cooey was sitting 3 and then was forced to make his last one for 1. So certainly Wipf team has to be pretty happy with how that ended up.
Center guard to start this second end of play. The come around, and now Carrick Martin being asked to come down, sit on the face of that red stone. Carrick Martin is the normal lead on the team. Aaron Sluchinski, the new player at second and away this week playing doubles. Tyler Tardy on the brush right now. Kevin Cooey in the house. Lots of room by the guard. Will come down, sit right on the corner of the red stone. Definitely left room to get to the inside of that and maybe break up the angle that's there a little bit.
Yeah, you wouldn't have to move the red one very far to open it up.
For the Wipf team, Max Cinnamon is the lead. Their second/third, depending on how you want to phrase it today, Michael Keenan. We mentioned earlier and got an update from one of the fans on the chat. Their normal third, Kai McCauley, who Jim said he was here for their opening game Friday, but he's having some knee trouble out this morning. Don't know just how bad that is. And Kenan Wipf, the skip, in the house.
Yeah, Max won't be real happy with that one. You don't want to go and drop that one short.
No. This is the fifth stone of the end. Carrick Martin will look to come right around everything on the intern side, and then you might see Kenan Wipf try to clean up the middle a little bit.
Ooh, heavy. With you, Shawn, I thought he might open this up a bit.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's not. Of course, I'm reading messages as well. I just got the message from one of our producers, Jerry Gertz, mentioning that the teams need to figure out the rock colors, because if you look at the scoreboard behind the sheet, which is at the thrower's end right now, it says Cooey's throwing red, and that's not what they're throwing right now.
Yeah. Yeah, it does have the potential to confuse people.
Yeah. We can't always see that on our screen. There, you can see it.
Yeah.
That's funny. They even marked the score on the right side, and they're throwing the opposite colors.
Yeah.
We can't always see that scoreboard on our view, so I have to go by who's throwing which one. And we've got the colors the same way they're throwing them, but it's not the way they have it up on their scoreboard.
It's funny, too, because most of the time I've seen, at least so far this weekend, maybe not this morning because everybody wouldn't have been in games prior, but the teams themselves have been putting the signage up. So it's a bit odd that they would get it wrong. Maybe that's the problem. They didn't do it themselves this morning.
Kevin Cooey looked briefly at the run back, the red guard that's by itself, onto the yellow in the rings to kill that red shot rock, electing to play the come around one more time. That run back will always be there if you could make this draw. Carrick Martin was on the brush right away. This might have been a little bit tight.
Yeah, tighten out a little bit light.
Comes down, touches off his own stone, sits just fully open.
Yeah, with having shot rock here, but you have to be a little careful.
Yeah, now that shot probably does take away the run back on the red, though. If you're running back the red guard, it's not going to go anywhere because of where that Yellowstone ended up. I guess you could play it to sit 2, but you're never going to be better than full 8. So Wipf's going to look to make a hit on the stone that was just delivered. Talking about a nose hit, stay right there. You have to be a little careful that you don't leave the slash red onto the yellow. Both reds fly, the yellow stays there. If you hit this just a sliver on the high side, you could double out the yellow at the back of the 8 as well. It's going to be close to that. Makes contact with it. It doesn't leave the rings. Stays in the 8-foot. It is out in the open now on the other side.
Great brushing job there, though. He moved that one a long way. For a little while, I was worried he might jam it even on his own somehow, so didn't do that. Almost made the double.
Left the red in a spot where, and that's what I think Kevin is looking at. Can you come off the red into the Yellowstone at the top of the 8? You need to be more or less on the top of it, which, you can get to the top half of it anyway. And You probably wouldn't kill that red stone, but could you pop it out into the open that way?
Well, I think he could for sure, and I think he could. He might even be able to, Shawn. He might be able to throw it hard enough to move that red one just out the back, and I think it would drag over and miss the back one. So, but it would have to have some good fortune there too. I'm not sure what they decided on.
Looks like they're playing the draw again.
Okay.
It's a skinny port, but the other side of the other part of that is that Yellowstone is moved over a couple of inches from where it was on his last attempt.
Yeah.
This has definitely got more line early. Makes the port and gets, well, does it? I was about to say it gets in far enough to be shot rock. I'm not sure that it did. I think it stopped for second.
Yeah, I think you're right, just by a hair, but
just needed, maybe 18 inches more weight so that Carrot could have left it a bit early and taken it at the end to bury it. It's pretty much on it all the way down. Can't see a lot of it. It is still in a dangerous spot for Kenan Wipf.
yeah, probably like you say, can't see much of it. You probably can't see enough. You may not be able to see enough to hit it and stay for number 2, which...
No, you can't, yeah. But the problem that you've got, you're playing this draw, and if you get this into the top of the button, there's definitely enough of that yellow available for, it would be Tyler Tardy still, to slash it into this rock. So you've got to be in a very precise spot with this. This is just throwing to bite the top of the 4. Boy, what a great shot that is.
Yeah, that's a really nice shot.
You throw into such a small spot, because if that slides a foot deeper, that yellow slash is there. Kevin's looking at the run back on the red guard again. They looked at that once earlier in the end. I don't think you could kill both reds in the rings now, but you could definitely jam the one that was just thrown, get it out, maybe spin the other one into the open. It's hard to say how they're going to fly when you're hitting a rock like that.
Could certainly improve the situation a lot, though, if he could ever get this going the right direction.
Tyler Tardy with the big weight. Carrick Martin with the brush. Runs it back, makes contact with the yellow. Spills one red, leaves the 2 yellows overlapped.
Makes the shot rock a little bit safer just with the angles that are there for sure.
Well, does it? And I say that because if you hit half a rock on the outside of the open red one, does it not clip the tighter yellow and straight into the side of that red?
Yeah.
Like that's they got a pretty good leave out of that, I think.
Okay. I think you could ask Kenan to throw the exact same shot he just threw. It would be a pretty good spot.
He could. He could play the triple on the yellows.
Yeah. That's tough, though. Can't see much.
Oh, it is.
Much of the top one.
No, the guard onto the 2
Yeah.
of the house. He can see all of the guard.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But yeah. Okay.
It's not even the higher of the 2 yellows that I'd be worried about if I was Kenan. It's that one in the middle of the 8-foot, because that slash on the outside red kicks the side of that yellow and it's going right into the shot stone. That's the one I'd like to move if it was me, but it's not easy. There's no easy way to do it. They're going to play the draw again. Now, if you get right beside the red stone, that would kind of serve to protect the red a bit. Yes, that slash that I was talking about is still there, but then that that red at the top just goes into the side of this one and it stays behind cover.
Yeah.
This has got a lot of room coming by the guards.
Yeah, does it ever?
Were they freezing the back one all the way here?
I don't think so. He went back there one time, but I don't think it was his intention to go all the way to the back one.
Yeah.
If he did, it would have been number 3 at best.
Yeah, well, and where it is though, it's if Kevin Cooey can make the freeze, both of your 2 stones in the 4-foot are eliminated.
Yeah. It looks like the draw coming here.
And Max Cinnamon didn't lift the brush all the way down on that, so I feel like they wanted it back there somewhere.
Yeah, he doesn't though, Shawn, all the time. Every rock, if you watch, you'll notice that pretty much every rock has a heavy clean kind of thing on the whole way down.
Skip Stone's left to come here in the second end. Kevin Cooey with his first, looking for the draw. Doesn't actually have to come right down to that back one, but if you get to the face of that back stone, it's hard to remove this stone with only 2 rocks left to come for Kenan Wipf. Nudges it back just a hair. Cooey's hit shot rock for now. Wipf looking at playing the pick on that.
Yeah, that was probably like 6 inches too heavy.
Yeah. But that was a case where Carrick Martin kind of had to go for line. You can see as it is, if anything, it's just a sliver past the nose now. I mean, if that curls much more, even if you're frozen, you can blast it out.
Yeah.
This still has to be made, and he has to pick it clean. If it makes contact with the red at all, hard to know, with that amount of distance between them, would it drag at all? Does it spin off that yellow at the back? Because if it leaves, that shot I was looking at, the slash the red onto the yellow onto shot stone, still there.
Yeah.
So you really need to pick this clean and sit 2 after this shot. Then Kevin's not likely to play that slash.
No, and definitely have to make this one go away.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah. That is a nice shot to pick that clean.
That was very nice.
Wipf sits 2. They're still looking at that red onto yellow onto red. What Tyler was looking at is, would they end up with shot rock playing it?
Yeah.
And it depends on whether or not it spins, I think, after it makes contact, which it might.
And he also tapped the outside red one coming off red onto yellow, which is kind of interesting. Kevin can definitely throw it hard enough to do that. That might be almost an easier shot.
Well, it might be the what you'd have to worry about then is, where is it going to leave that second red?
Yeah.
Does it leave a shot that Kenan Wipf might be able to play the same type of shot and get his second point that way?
Sure, yeah.
Looks like that's what he's going to play. He's going to come off the widest red into the one that's biting the 8-foot. He's not going to be light. Needs to hit this first one very thin. He's close. Wow. Jammed it so solidly into the second one, though, that he didn't get shot rock.
Yeah.
Didn't get that little bit of spin they were hoping for. So it's going to be just a draw for 2 for Kenan Wipf. One more look at it here. It's thin. I mean, you have to play to make the shot, right? But he actually almost would have been a little bit better off. I'm trying to think of the angles that were coming out. Actually, a little bit thinner on the first one to get the combination right. They didn't get the spin they were looking for. They actually drove the yellow into the top half of the red.
Yeah. You checking the scoreboard, trying to figure out why am I throwing a red rock.
Yeah, he might think he's drawing for a third point here.
Yeah.
We're going to be up by 3 after this.
Yeah. It was early in the game, but a big shot. An open draw.
Wow, yeah, you started the game with the hammer against you. This is your chance to flip the hammer already in the second end. Just cleaning. Now this is going to be close to his own. He can't afford to tap it very far. He'll just come sit right on the face of it. Good enough for his 2 points in the back 4-foot. And Kenan Wipf now with a 2-1 lead here over Kevin Cooey in this men's quarterfinal. We'll be back for the third end right after this.
Gripper first.
Don't forget your brooms.
Yep, we got it. Yellow, yellow.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Third end here from the men's quarterfinal. Kevin Cooey trailing by 1. He's got last rock as we begin play here in the third end. Saville Grand Prix men's and women's action on the ice. We want to thank everyone who's been joining us all weekend long and hope you've settled in for an exciting day of championship action here on Sunday. We've got all the playoffs, both the men's and the women's side. You can catch all of the action on the Curling Stadium Network and commentary on selected features.
I think they have just figured out the signage problem.
That might have been that look over the shoulder before he threw his last one.
Yeah.
Jerry Gertz will be happy now. He was getting confused.
I tell you. I'll be happy too. We could get to the 6th or 7th and I'd be really confused. So good to see players getting it right.
First stone of this third end brought into the top of the 4-foot. Kevin Cooey now asking for the corner guard. There's only just so many scripts you can follow for the start of an end, but you do see this a lot with a lot of the teams. When you've got the lead, you know the other team's going to throw the corner. You throw that first one into the top of the forefoot. Now you throw the center guard.
Yeah. It looks a little bored by this part of the end.
Well, you know, through the first two ends, we've had so many rocks in play. By the time the skips come up to throw, this part of the end is positively boring. Let's get the rocks in play and then see how the angles all shape up.
Yeah.
It does look like both teams willing to play with some rocks in play. We just have to be patient while they get them started.
Yeah.
That's a really nice line on that guard. Dead lined up to the shot in the top of the forefoot.
Yeah, choosing to go around the center instead of around the corner here. That's interesting. Sometimes people go around the corner, and that red one might be just a little bit too good. Bunch of curling to do.
Well, if his weight's right, it will curl. We've seen that all week long. I think that was a plan B call at the end. They were trying to go by the red one. Just rubbed it on the way by, so stays fully out in the open. No doubt Kenan Wipf going to make a play on it, but you could see the concern there. He doesn't want to roll all the way in behind the corner. He'd be behind the tee line, behind the corner. That's a rock that Kevin Cooey could use. I think ideally you'd like to stay right on the nose. That's tough. You roll a couple of inches to the outside, and there's room for Kevin Cooey to roll under the center guards. This is a long ways out there, and this is still just the fifth stone of the end if he stays on that corner guard. Curl past it. Does make contact with that yellow stone. And I'm not sure he got it out the back. Kevin saying it is out.
Yeah, I'm with you. I thought by his reaction that he didn't. It was one of those reactions like, oh, man, just another inch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, from the hack end, you can see white, but you have to get that overhead shot. We don't have that camera shot up right now, but it's got to be close to biting. Kevin seemed to indicate that it's out. Looking to come around from the other side this time, make the corner freeze on the red. This time, Carrick Martin locks it right on the corner.
Yeah, that's very nice.
Kevin seemed to indicate that yellow at the back was out. I'm still not sure. Like, I'm putting a stick on that at the end of the end, I think.
Yeah, it does look like it's still hanging on, but
It may not come down to that, but you know, it's close enough that if some rocks go missing out of the middle before this is over, it could influence calls in this end because neither team's going to be 100% sure if it's in or not, and that could make a difference to how you want to play a shot later on in the end.
absolutely.
See another plan B attempt on a rock that's just a little bit heavy, and again, it rubs off, comes to rest in the back of the 8-foot. It is second shot, so Wipf sitting 2 for the time being. Tyler Tardy now, the lefty. This is the intern. Outturn for Carrick Martin, intern for Tyler Tardy. Either way, both of them make very nice freezes on the corner. Wipf is sitting shot rock at the top of the 4-foot, but that rock is very vulnerable right now. And I know, I understand his pain. It's what can you even do about it? Like, it's tough to break up the freeze that's there.
Yeah.
You have to do something with those rocks in the middle, because you know that right now, as it sits, that red stone is gone anytime Kevin Cooey decides he wants it gone. So they're going to come around from the intern side and try to sit on the corner of the yellow. That's third shot. This has got to get by the guard, though. Oh, just rubs again. That's the third rub we've seen this end. That, again, might have been a little bit strong. Does come to rest for second shot, I think, at the back of the 4-foot. So Wipf actually is sitting 3 right now. Kevin wondering if there's a double available in the 2 at the back, because he doesn't have to play that top one just yet.
Yeah, I think that's probably there, but certainly a roll in to be shot would be there.
Yeah, for Kevin, though, if he's trying to bring all the yellows back into play, really needs to make the double here. I shouldn't say that. He needs to move the second stone. If he just moves it out of the 8-foot, that's enough that he'd be sitting second, third, and fourth.
He's going to move something. He's throwing it hard. He's got the back one.
Comes across, touches it. Well, I think enough that he's sitting second and or no, I guess he's shot at the back. He'd be sitting shot and third, I think, at the top of the 8-foot. Boy, that was a good shot, but didn't need to move that much farther, and he'd be sitting third and fourth. Wipf now deciding to have to do something about this angle at the top of the house so that Kevin doesn't have such an easy way to remove that red at the top of the 4-foot. Needs to get to the inside of this stone. Gets to the inside enough. It does just wiggle the red behind it, and the yellow doesn't leave. What are these angles like now? Can you get to the nose of that red? And if you do, does it make the triple?
I don't know. I don't know that he can get right to the nose. Get really close.
You can get awful close to the nose.
Yeah.
Red onto yellow onto red is definitely there. Now, does it clip the back one? Hard to tell, because, I mean, there's 3 rocks that you have to make contact with first at the right angle. It might. It certainly could. And does the top one fly? And even if it does, do you have to play it yet? He's going to play the guard. Straight back. No, he's playing to get all 4 reds. He's thinking we can't quite get to the nose maybe directly, so he's going to use the guard to make the shot. So red guard over the top of the red, just slightly over top of the red in the house. Red onto yellow onto red, maybe clip the red at the back of the 8-foot. You could see 4 reds leave here. 1, 2, 3. It does catch the one at the back, and all 4 reds leave. Kevin Cooey suddenly sitting 3.
Yeah, very good shot. Sometimes it's hard to even see those shots, so kudos for the boys to notice that.
Well, for Kenan Wipf, he's got a double for sure on just off the nose. But if you hit this right, he could make a triple back.
Yeah, definitely could.
Now, you hit the first one just off the nose. After it hits the second one at the back of the forefoot, it's definitely going to be going towards the third yellow. Kenan Wipf just watched 3 of his rocks go. Going to try to get 3 back the other way. Got all 3 of them moving. A little unfortunate in that it ends up on his own rock, but I think his shooter rolled behind cover. Well, partially behind cover.
Yeah, and they kind of it's a good sweeping job as Max always does. He just fell asleep a little bit on that one. He got watching the rocks, and he had a chance to maybe move that another couple inches behind the guard. But, I understand why you might not be thinking that at the time. You're looking at everything else, but did have an opportunity there to maybe bury that one. Good shot, though, either way.
Yeah, it's Kevin Cooey can make the hit here, but he can't stay behind cover. He's going to have to roll towards the center line somewhere. There's going to be some kind of double if Kenan wants to take it on. It's probably going to be thin, whether it be a slash or have the shooter roll towards it. The other option he might have is to try to hit and roll in front of that yellow at the back of the 12-foot as well. Just depends where this one ends up.
Yeah.
Kevin's going to throw this quiet. He's going to try to stay as wide as he can. This is going to roll pretty big, I think.
Yeah, tough double, but question, do you go for it or don't you go for it? You probably have to.
Yeah, your choice is really, it's the slash double, which, because it rolled that far, it's not as bad as it could have been. Or you try to hit and roll over in front of that yellow, and even if you make that, there's a lot of room between there will be a lot of room between the 2 stones, and Kevin Cooey will have a chance to pass it by for 2. You kind of like to leave it in your own hands when you've got this chance. Take your own shot at the double.
Yeah.
It's, what do you think, Jim? About a quarter of a stone?
Yeah, a quarter, maybe a hair more than that, but not much. Probably a third, something like that. It's almost the same shot to make the roll as it is to make the double, but not quite. You have to hit a little bit thicker to make the roll behind, I think.
Yeah, and if you were playing the roll, you'd be throwing a lot less weight. He'll throw this with some speed. If you catch any piece of the second, you want to make sure it flies.
Must be close.
It might be a little thick.
Yeah. Yeah, just need to stay on it.
I actually thought with that broom, he might have been bringing that a little harder than that one.
Yeah.
It's a firm normal, but probably not all of peel weight. So Kevin Cooey with the hammer here in the third end, trailing by 1. He's got shot rock sitting in the back of the 12. Just needs any piece of the 12-foot to pick up his deuce and jump back out to the 1-point lead. The way these opening 3 ends have gone, we may see a few lead changes in this game. It's been quite back and forth. Kevin Cooey right to the button with his final stone. Picks up his 2 points here in the third end. He'll take a 3-2 lead into the fourth. Kenan Wipf with the last rock when we come back.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Fourth end of an outstanding quarterfinal thus far. Kevin Cooey with the 1-point lead after picking up the deuce in the third. Wipf had a deuce of his own in the second. He's got last rock here in the fourth. We'll see if he can get things going here as well. The start of this end, we see the center guard thrown up. It is almost splitting center. Max Cinnamon looking to come around on the intern side. Gets it mostly in behind cover. Full 8-foot, might have a sliver of the 4-foot. There you go. Carrick Martin will look to follow it down, sit on the face, maybe a little bit on the corner if he can. Similar start here in this fourth end to what we saw in the second end. They spoil us with the first two with so many rocks in play and some good angle play. You kind of almost get to the point where we're expecting that every end now. Last end was a rather open end after the, admittedly, that was a very good shot, the quad by Tyler Tardy, and then almost a triple right behind it for Kenan Wipf. Made contact with three, didn't have the third one leave.
Yeah.
Nothing out of the brush on this one. A lot of room coming by the guard. Should curl if his weight's good. Does come down, sits on the corner, nudges it ever so slightly. Both of these teams, and really, Jim, a lot of the teams on the men's side anymore have had to learn to be so patient with these shots. I mean, you could probably get to the nose of that red, hit it on the nose, both reds fly. But if you start removing stones this early in the end, you get back to a blank pretty early. Yeah, it's all about setting up angles where you can remove stones, but your opposition can't.
Yeah, it's almost like that blank end has become an enemy of a lot of the teams, because you are right. It's so often we see that where even when there's a lot of rocks in play, we see various announcers and whatnot start talking about playing a blank with still like 6 rocks to come to an end, and it's just and lots of rocks in play. So yeah, they don't go after that shot rock very early very often.
No. And to go back to what we were just what I was just saying, the angles in the house right now favor Kevin Cooey enough so that Kenan Wipf is going to peel the guard.
Yeah.
It's just not a good situation in the house right now. He's got shot rock, but he's in trouble. So peeling the guard. Kevin might try to put a guard back. Yeah, he is going to. Now he's going to look at a slightly different position. Because again, all the angles in the house right now favor Kevin Cooey. He can make both reds go, not at the same time. He can make the third shot go with the angle in the top two.
Yeah.
They're frozen in the top of the 8-foot, and really hard for Kenan Wipf to make anything yellow go away without losing at least one of his own. Yeah, and maybe he could lose the shot rock. These guards are as much about delaying the decision as anything else, too, because you know that Kenan Wipf peeled the guard on the last one. He's probably going to peel this one, too, because the angles in the house haven't changed in his favor at all.
No, and I think you don't want to move the top one at all because it's going to open up the back one too much. So right now, it's a little bit difficult to get to the shot rock red.
Yeah, I don't think he's seriously thinking about the pick on the yellow now. He'll certainly want to be thinking about, okay, we're going to peel the guard. They're probably going to put it back. We're going to peel again. How many times do we do this? And then what is our move in the house? So that'll be part of what he's considering right now.
Yeah. Well, Kevin's going to make a move, maybe. Maybe. We're not sure yet. Yeah.
I thought Kevin might wait one more shot. He's got a great situation on the second shot and second shot because that yellow is not going anywhere.
Yeah.
I thought he might wait one more shot to play this. Tyler looking to play yellow at the 12-foot onto the red stone that's just biting the 8. This has got a curl. By hitting the first one that thin, he didn't get the red out the back, and he's left a double on the yellows at the top of the 8-foot.
Yeah.
This is the get out of jail card for Kenan Wipf. Even if they don't get the second one out, just to break up that angle that's there right now.
Yeah, it's probably a little bit difficult to get that set because he's coming off the outside one, I think.
He's coming off the outside, but he'll hit the top end of it. I mean, he can definitely get into the side of that yellow and kick it out.
Yeah.
And he's going to leave a double back. It might actually be a triple, but right now that shot rock is just too vulnerable. You've got to make a shot. Take a shot at moving that yellow off the top of it. He might be a little too thick here.
Ooh, that's not good.
No. He's probably sitting 2 right now, but if you make the double, you almost have to make the triple.
Hmm.
It might go over the top, I guess. You could just hit that red on the nose, too.
Yeah. He can certainly make the double without losing his shooter, too, even if he doesn't get all 3 of them. So I think he'll definitely could sit 2 easily here.
Yeah.
Of course, there might be another double coming back, but
yeah, he'd probably have to leave the double back. Tyler Tardy's made his way down to talk about it. He could play the yellow run because there's no pocket. There's no room between those 2 reds, so you could actually run yellow onto yellow into the pocket of the 2 reds and have them both leave. Then you might be able to get the yellows spread out in a way that you don't leave a double. That's a tougher shot, though.
I'll know in a minute what he decided on.
Just play the straight double on the reds, and again, it might catch the third one. Makes the double. Oh, just over the top of that third one. Both of the reds fly. He loses the shooter. So Cooey sitting shot rock atop the 8. Second shot belongs to Wipf back of the 12-foot. Hard for him to make a play directly onto shot rock, though, because he'd be pushing it towards that red stone. You could make the double on the yellows, but your shooter wouldn't be in the rings.
The way he tapped this, though, looked like I would think Shawn just pretty much a nose hit double here would do the trick.
Yeah.
It looked like he was going a little bit on the high side and rolling the shooter to the left, which
If you're on the high side, it's real tough to make the double.
I don't think you can. I think you're going to be sitting 2-3.
So just jamming the 1 and trying to get into the rings. It's still not going to get into the rings.
Yeah. I thought that
Does
was
protect the shot at the back.
Yeah, I think that for me, the shot there was just to play the nose hit or even a little tiny bit low side as we looked at it here and sit 2 or just sit the 1 at the back even would be better, because I hear you're definitely going to be in a force position if Kevin makes anything good here. A couple more rocks, I guess, to come, but still.
So Kevin Cooey looking to come around that tight corner now, sit on the face of that stone at the back. Don't know if he wants to be all the way to it. You're in a tough spot here if you're Kevin Cooey. If you're not all the way to it, you could leave the thin double to sit too.
Yeah, if you go all the way to it, you leave him that exact same shot.
He's going to follow it down, yeah.
Would be a bit of a problem.
Maybe try to sit on the corner of it just fully open, and then if he freezes to it, you can blast everything out.
Yeah.
Looks like that might be the call here. Yeah, that's a pretty good spot.
Yeah.
It's just fully open, so Kenan Wipf can't really just sit on it. If you sit on it, Kevin Cooey can blast everything. The red at the back will go as well. So he's going to have to throw enough weight to try to pass that red through, or pardon me, that yellow past the red and just roll in behind cover and try to stay for shot rock. If you roll too far, Kevin Cooey will just be able to draw again and you'll be forced. This is a delicate little shot to get a little roll partly behind cover and still stay for shot rock. Not playing with a lot of ice here. Kenan Wipf with his first. He's got last rock here.
I'm going to go real hard on this. He's
This
okay.
is close. They might have let it curl too far. He's going to overroll, I think. I think it rolled too far. We'd need the overhead shot to be sure.
I think you're right.
I think if it's rolled too far. So now Kevin Cooey could just throw that same draw. The key here is to be, if you look at the angle coming off that yellow, if Kenan has a shot to come off that yellow and play the double, you want this yellow in a spot where it's going to jam on either one of those two reds is just fine.
Yeah, and it was a bit odd there. It almost was like that that's what they wanted. They wanted the two behind the guard versus leaving that for shot rock. And I'm with you. I think having that be shot rock was a little bit of a better plan.
Yeah, they only just lost it at the end. If it rolls 6 inches less, you're a piece behind cover, cornered on your own. It just moved a little bit after it got past the guard and rolled a sliver too far. It was a tough shot. Like they were playing with such a small, such a precise little roll to put that in the perfect spot.
It wouldn't take much of a miss here for them to have a shot at 1 points. Jeez, Carrick went down yesterday. Almost went down again.
That's the tough thing for a lot of these brushers, and people don't necessarily always think about it, but when you're trying to sweep with a slider, a little spin at the end, it spun out. It's a hit for 3 here.
Strategy worked just fine.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, not a shot you'd expect Kevin to miss. Basically just a T-line draw.
Especially after he just threw it.
Yeah.
And that's just heavy all the way. Now, Kenan will need to roll just a little bit, I think. If he's dead on the nose, I think the yellow at the back is still third shot.
Yeah, possibly.
This is a glorious opportunity, though. We talked about it last time that we may see a few more lead changes, but if you could ever pick up the 3 here, it's a little harder for Kevin Cooey to keep flip-flopping the lead when he's down 2.
This one looks okay.
Yeah, they need to hold that line if they're going to get a little bit of a roll. Is that enough? It looks like it is to me.
Yeah, I think it is too. Yeah, it is.
Yep, so put 3 points on the board for Kenan Wipf. He jumps out to a 5-3 lead here in this quarterfinal. Kevin Cooey with last rock, but he's trailing by 2 when we come back for the 5th.
Handcrafted in Canada, Artline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Everything I've worked for, everything I've sacrificed, has led to this. It's out of your hands now. All the gold medals in the world can't help you now. You could throw the perfect rock and still miss, but it just takes one. You leave it all out there on the ice to leave behind a legacy.
This is it. It all comes down to this rock. The hours in the gym, the weeks away from my family. This is what I've been training for. And all those voices trying to tear me down, I'm here to silence them. We've given everything we have for a chance to get everything we want.
Fourth and break here in this quarterfinal between Kenan Wipf, Kevin Cooey. Wipf with a 5-3 lead now after 3 points in the 4th. It'll be Kevin Cooey with last rock in the 5th.
And although I think, Shawn, we both thought maybe that last rock would have been better, or with first rock, sorry, would have been better if it had stayed a shot. Certainly worked out in the end, and they did a good job of being patient in that end and setting that up and getting a couple rocks around the corner to have at least a chance at the bonus points. And I'm sure they didn't expect to have quite an easy a shot as that to get 3, but.
It has been interesting the way this game has played out so far. We've seen a couple of ends that looked like they were shaping up towards 3. Didn't happen. That end never looked like it was going to be 3. And when the dust clears, the final rock comes to rest. It's 3 points on the board for Kenan Wipf, and now a 2-point lead, which feels huge at this point in time.
Yeah, it does.
Team set to resume now as we begin play here in the 5th. Max Cinnamon with the out-turn draw. I have to expect, I didn't see the call, but I expect they're playing this right into the rings.
Would have too, if it doesn't look like
And,
it.
and yet he's going to play the center guard, yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny, with a 1-point lead 2 ends ago, he played into the house. With a 2-point lead, now he's throwing the guard. I don't think it matters. I think Kevin's likely to throw the corner anyway.
Yeah.
I think I mentioned when we had this set up 2 ends ago that, and granted it started out in the other order, but I said there's only a few scripts you can have to start at end, and in a lot of cases a team will throw that first one into the house knowing that you're going to throw the corner guard, and then they'll just guard the stone that's in the top of the forefoot. We're going to get back to the same spot, presumably here after 3 rocks. He's just done it in the other order. He threw the center guard up first. Kevin Gooey throws the corner. Now they're going to come around, this time from the out-turn side. Stay away from that corner guard.
It's the way I always prefer to play this shot too, if I know both sides, and I like to stay away from any possible hit and roll behind the corner. And I haven't seen it as much. Teams don't seem to be as concerned. Maybe that's just because the ice conditions are usually so good and lots of curl here that they don't worry about that quite as much. But I've been surprised how many teams go around that on the in-turn, for example, as opposed to the out-turn.
It can depend, as you said, though, on the ice conditions, or maybe even the rock conditions might be the better way to put it, because some of these rocks curl so hard that it's really easy to poke out the other side. So sometimes if you want to make sure you leave them the off side of the rock, so to speak, you have to come around it from that side because you know it's going to over curl the guard.
Yeah.
Such big movement in a lot of these surfaces now towards the corner, the rocks. Everybody knows how to condition these rocks nowadays, and they get them ready for these teams before they come to these events. It does make for some exciting curling because there's not a shot you can't make when the rocks will curl.
Yeah.
Kenan took a little bit of a look to see how much of that yellow you can see. Now, the problem there is this is still the 5th stone of the end. If you tried to make a play on that yellow and you crashed the guard, you could put it into the boards. This is still a free guard. So he's going to elect to come around. I think if we were later on in the end, he might make a play at that yellow stone.
Yeah.
On the brush early here, he rubbed with his last attempt. This is not going to get by either. Might be a little light as well.
Yeah, definitely light on that. Never really had much of a chance, I don't think.
Leaves the 2 red guards slightly overlapped too. So if who are we at here? Still Carrick Martin throwing. If Carrick can make the come around here, not necessarily going to be even a rock that they could run back to get to it.
Certainly not one of the 2 front ones anyways.
No. Nice line coming by. Needs to stop in front of the tee line, though, and it's not going to. Slides to the back of the forefoot.
Yeah, a good opportunity for Team Wipf here to put one in there and have it in a really nice spot.
Michael Kenan looking for the come around the intern, and this one is going absolutely sideways. This is all over the front. Again, probably a little bit light, but that certainly seemed to curl hard. Now, he did get rid of the overlap on the reds, and the two reds on, as we look from the hack end of the left side of center, kind of look like they're lined up to shot rock.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, you're right. That was very odd. That was, the first rock was Max Cinnamon's last rock was definitely light, and this one was definitely light as well. But it went really, really hard.
Yeah, it moved harder than, I don't know whether it picked or not. We didn't see the full path of the rock, but that, even for a quiet stone, that looked like an unnatural amount of movement. Tyler Tardy trying to come around a little wider, and this is one where he won't want to line up those two yellows just in case that run on the red is lined up. It's certainly making contact with something if he's close to the nose. There's enough separation between those two reds that if he wants to make the red onto red and double the yellows, there's a way to do it for sure.
Yeah.
Probably has to be a sliver on the broom side, I think, to do that.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. Not much, though, because, like you said,
there's some room between them.
Yeah.
Throwing the quiet weight here so they can bring the sweeper into this. I like the weight call. This is going to overcurl again, though.
It is.
Needed to be on the broom side. He's going to hit it on the other side. And actually, maybe fortunate that it didn't touch the top yellow, because if it touches the top yellow, it probably just rubs it and goes by the stone at the back.
Yeah, definitely fortunate. You're right. That's when I was coming in there, I was gritting my teeth a little bit, wondering whether I was going to hit that one. Just kind of.
Yeah, well, if it rubs it, it probably goes by the one at the back, and Kui's probably still sitting.
At least two.
At least two. Looking at how far that stone went at the back, it probably would have been three.
Yeah.
Not sure Kevin can get second shot on the draw either.
Oh, no. Coming all the way around, I don't know if he can either. It doesn't look like he could.
He'd have to get to the inside of his own yellow stone, and if you look at it from the thrower's end, that's quite a drastic overcurl once it's past the guard. He's going to be tight by the guard. That's half the battle. Carrick Martin now switching to the other side. Still not going to get to the inside of that rock. Now, it does leave an interesting angle on the yellows. Yeah, it might be by the red.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's risky.
Yeah, I was going to say, you could end up not just all, you might end up only opening up your own here.
I can't believe they're going to throw this with a lot of weight if they're going to play it. Boy, that's putting the broom down like he's going to throw it with some weight. Yeah. Well, it's not just that you could open up your own. It's really easy to drive the red onto just a quarter of the yellow, for instance, and come across and kill the red out of the back of the 8 foot, or back of the 4 foot, pardon me.
You better hit this in exactly the right spot. I know that.
Yeah, you got to dead stick it. You got to leave it line cover. And he didn't.
No, that was the problem.
He did get shot rock out of it. And it is, I mean, it's a little farther over because it came into the side of that red, so it's over buried on the two guards as well. It's not bad for now.
No, that could have been a lot less fortunate. I think it just
was
a scary shot.
If the red that he if the red that he ran in had spilled out into the open, he'd have been in trouble. But it came actually so dead into the red stone at the back that it stayed buried.
Yeah, I think if I was playing that, I would be very gentle with it. He wasn't very heavy, but he was probably heavier than I was thinking. So.
Looking for the triple here. We saw the quad from Tyler last end. He gets he gets 4 rocks moving. 3 of them will leave. Does leave with the shot rock on the button. Second shot belongs to Cooey, and it is buried. No guards left on the center line. Still probably a better situation for Cooey.
Yeah, a bit of a nervous time for Wipf here. He's in good shape if he can make these next 2 shots perfect, but they've got to be good because he could be in some trouble here if he ever does something a little bit wrong. Like sets up a double here on the red somehow. It could be not good.
Yeah,
As long as it curls right to the red rock and past the red rock a little bit, he should be okay. I think.
Yeah, you'd like to stay on the inside corner of the yellow.
Yeah.
I don't think you ever want to get to the face. If you're on the face, there's probably a way to come off the red and move it out the side. You want to stay slightly on the corner.
Yeah.
Actually, if you could stay on the corner enough to sit 2, that'd be great.
Yeah.
You actually might be looking at a steal here then. Line looks pretty good. They've switched to the offside to go for some curl. I'm not sure they needed more curl. They needed more weight.
Yeah. Yeah, that could have been better for sure. He just, could afford to be a little smidgen heavy even on that, just to move it back, and still your shooter should be in a place where you couldn't do anything with it. It's one of those tricks taking ice that if you throw just a little bit light, you don't guard the rock. It's like, just the way it goes. So
yeah, Kevin's definitely got a shot here at the shot stone. The question is, where do they want to roll with this? And I'm not necessarily even convinced that they have to stay for second right now. If you roll to the edge of the 12-foot somewhere, where does Kenan Wipf go? Does he hit the yellow anyway? Because there's a lot of yellows around the outside, and that stone that he was just delivered, Kevin could pick it out if it was his last stone. You'd hate to leave your red one if you're Kenan Wipf on your last one, where you might leave him a double. So I don't think you could draw towards the middle. It'd be tempting here for me to play the big, to me anyway, you play the big roll to the edge of the 8-foot. If Kenan Wipf ever hits it right on the nose, would Kevin Cooey play the thin double? He's so good at them, and it's for 3, maybe 4 if you stick it.
Yeah, I think he'd certainly give it a shot, depending exactly on where they are. But
yeah, I don't think that top one, he can't hit enough of it to hurt himself.
No. Let's see where he ends up.
Well, this is going to have to curl just to hold the shooter.
It's not going to do that, I don't think.
Definitely was playing for the big roll. Now, he did get the red far enough back that he's got 3rd and 4th.
Yeah.
Wipf has to be really careful not to leave a double here.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that shot, even though it wasn't exactly what he was doing, it was it almost accomplished the same thing that you'd mentioned. It was pretty one less rock, but still pretty much accomplishes the same.
Well, had he rolled to the edge of the 8-foot, Kenan would have had to make a decision whether he's going to ignore it or hit it, because if you ignore it, even if you make a good one here, it still could be a shot for 3.
Yeah.
The nice thing for Wipf coming to the middle like this, it's pretty hard to leave a double. The only double I'm seeing is if you're short. If you stay up too high, you post that other one.
Yeah, as long as you get past your red one by a little bit more than a few inches, then you should be fine.
I think so. unless Kevin Cooey wants to play some kind of run, and you can't rule that out.
No,
He's
that's
so
true.
good at
Yeah.
them.
This one's going to have to crawl a lot, but
Yeah, it's got a lot of room.
It's okay for weight.
Comes to rest on the button, almost fully open.
Come off that a little bit, I think, Shawn, to let that stop in the, full forefoot in the front would have been a little better spot, but
yeah, it's hard to know. It's Kevin Cooey you're playing against. If you put that in a spot where he doesn't have a shot to score two going at it directly, that's when he starts lining up those runs, and those little biters around the outside, it could turn into three. You might be happy to force him to a shot for two rather than give him the chance to get three or maybe four if it's the one in the corner that he ran in.
yeah, that's true enough. He might have even considered like an ultra thin double off that top one in the 8, depending on where you were exactly. So
That's really tough. But if that rock, if you bring that rock forward another foot, it's pretty close to a nose hit on the red guard to get all three of them.
Yeah.
So Kevin Cooey with his final stone now looking to come down. Just needs to tap back the stone that was just delivered. Stay in the forefoot himself. He can pick up his 2 points here and tie things up after 5 ends of play. Carrick Martin really just cleaning. He's got nice line coming by. We'll tap that red stone back, put 2 points on the board. For Kevin Cooey, we're all tied up 5 apiece after 5 ends of play. 5s are wild here in the quarterfinals. Kevin Cooey, Kenan Wipf, 6th end action coming up.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs.
First stone in the 6th end we see just coming to rest. It's a long center guard. It is splitting the center line. Tied up as we begin play here in the 6th. Kenan Wipf looking for the come around on the out-turn side. This is getting tight to that guard early. It's still on the center line, and it will get past. But now if this comes to rest on the T line, it's probably out in the open on the other side. Stops maybe a sliver behind the guard still.
Yeah, not very much so.
Enough of it visible that Carrick Martin's going to be asked to make a play on it. Even with weight to remove it, he should be able to get to the inside and stay dead under cover himself. By the front one. Gets to the nose, just slightly inside the nose, enough to pass it through. And he's probably about half behind cover himself. The guard is long enough you can't see it in the overhead shot, but you can see it in the camera angle from the hacks. So Wipf going to ask Max Cinnamon to make a play on shot rock, and this time they'd like to roll towards the corner, keep the play away from the middle. Will make contact with the yellow, but it's very thin. Shooter's going to roll out for sure. And the Yellowstone hangs on for a bite at the back of the 12. So Kevin Cooey's sitting one. He's got a center guard. It's a long center guard. They're going to try to bring another one in, but top of the 12-foot. And, you know, in a way, Jim, this is, you're trying to do two things here. Sit two, but also this rock could act as a second guard when they're putting it up this high in the rings.
Yeah, exactly. It curls in there so nice that something in the 12-foot would definitely be able to go right around it. It's pretty good.
Yeah, pretty much right where he tapped the ice. Kenan Wipf doesn't really want to blank the sixth end. Most teams, I think, content if they get a chance to score one here. That's better than the blank in six. So he's going to play a little bit aggressively here, try to freeze that stone at the top of the 12. If this was the seventh end, you might see him peel the center guard towards that stone at the back 12. See if he could get to a blank situation. This made a move early. I'm peeking at the replay myself. That definitely looked like it picked.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine that would be.
It didn't look like it was out of his hand. It looked like it was later. So here we tried to catch the replay, but it's too far after the release. Regardless of how it happened, it does open up the opportunity for Kevin Cooey. Tyler Tardy now with his first stone of this sixth end, looking to come right around the stone at the top of the 12-foot. Gonna guess he didn't get exactly what he wanted out of that. And yeah, just a little bit deep.
Yeah, still not the end that Wipf would have liked to have developing here at this point. But
no, but at least he's not looking at what looks like a steal right now. It's behind the tee line. He's got a chance here to set up to score, and really two is still alive. If you make a good freeze here, this has got a lot of room. They're sweeping for curl because this does not look light either.
Good brushing by Cinnamon. He just kind of carved that one in there pretty good. It was out there a ways.
Yeah. Chance yet for Tyler Tardy to hit and roll back in behind cover. Now he'll definitely be behind the tee line again, even if he does make the roll. But the scoring area will certainly shrink, and I don't think we're headed towards a blank end here. This is going sideways. I don't know if he's going to hit it. Maybe just rubbed it on the way by, not enough to move it very far.
I think Tyler thinks that one picked as well. He was doing some cleaning up there on that path.
Boy, that does not look like a lot of ice for a draw.
No.
They've been on this all the way down for a line. Maybe a little light again. They've had this problem a few times. Nudges off the Yellowstone. Sits for fourth. Cooey's got second and third. Shot rock continues to be that redstone back of the 4-foot. Can see enough of the red to play the double. Tricky if you play the double to get the top red out. I mean, it's going towards the two yellows on the side. There's room to get between them, but tough to call that. I guess if it goes into the side of the one way off on the edge, you're probably still sitting 3. That's not a bad result.
Yeah. Not going to play that, though.
Yeah, he's going to go directly at shot rock. And you can see most of it.
Be close.
Yeah, if he gets by, he's got a great shot. Yeah, he gets by, gets to the inside, and actually rolls underneath that rock. Moves it just far enough to sit 3.
Tell you, that didn't get by very much.
No, well, he didn't any more than throw enough weight. If you don't get that out of the 8-foot, there's a run back on the red to sit 2.
Yeah.
Playing the tap here, and again, this is going to over curl.
Something odd going on there a little bit, Shawn, just on that side. Just seems like these rocks are going a little harder and a little earlier than we would expect.
That's not a horrible result, though. What does Kevin Cooey do with that? He's looking at hit the red, come off the top of the yellow. The problem with that is the red's a little deeper than the yellow. It's hard to do that.
Yeah.
You nose hit, you've left a pocket. Or the hit and roll. I mean, too many choices. I don't think you want to hit it and stay right there.
No, maybe you don't hit it at all.
Just draw top 4.
Yeah.
Maybe. I do seem to be favoring the idea of the hit, and I understand that. I like the hit myself, because as long as you get rid of that rock, it doesn't end up on the scoreboard. The question is, and that's all that they're talking about, is how do we not leave a good setup? And they're talking about where can they bump that second yellow. That's the trick. It's the hit on the red's easy, but it's hard to not leave something good here. They want to bump that yellow, I think, and at least not leave a pocket. So spread them out a little bit somehow or another. You can't just play this as a straight double either. I mean, that's an option. You could hit those two rocks right in the middle, just kill both of them and only leave one there, but that still leaves a pretty short hit and rolling behind the 3 rocks now on the center line.
It's on it firm.
Going to try to hit the first one fairly thick, come across and nudge the second one. Probably didn't nudge it quite as far as they would have liked.
No, I agree. I think he was trying to get it up there a little bit higher. Sitting 4, though, can't be all bad.
No, yeah, and if Wipf's going to play the hit and roll into the top of the button, he's leaving that stone at the back button. He's not going to have a lot of room to try to score 2.
No, and if he rolls just past the other yellow one, then that little run back is there, but probably not playing it because you got to run that top guard a little bit too far, I guess.
Maybe it's Kevin Cooey. It's Kevin Cooey.
Yeah,
he's so good at those, and I mean, he'd have it available on the out turn. He throws that out turn run with such precision.
Yeah,
and it's a nose hit. It's like you said, it's nose hit even on the high guard.
Yeah,
the red yellow is lined up. They're so close together. I don't know. Do you want to roll? Probably want to roll right in front of the yellow more so than dead buried, just so you don't leave that.
Yeah, that's a thought for sure. Better stay close to this one.
Well, they're playing plan B now. They're going to the back one because it's over-curled the top one. Another rock that started to over-curl and still just rub that enough so that it spins out into the open. He is definitely going to have a shot to score because he can always come off the yellow on the other side of the 4-foot.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a bit odd situation on that in-turn side on this sheet. So right now, everybody getting fooled consistently here.
Cooey likely looking to roll inside a little bit. I mean, you could hit this right on the nose, sit 2, and there might be a double, I guess. It jams on the back if you hit it right on the nose. That's what they're looking at now. They're looking at the same thing I am. If you hit it right on the nose, does it leave a double? And it's debatable. It's very flat for sure.
Yeah.
So actually, I think they've indicated they're just going to peel this red straight out.
Yeah, you're right.
Not flirt with leaving in the double that might be for 2. Just pick it right out. So Cooey sits 3. And it looks like Wipf has decided he's going to play the hit on the shot stone. Just needs to stay full 8 foot.
Pretty basic shot, but in the 7th end tie game, playing Kevin Cooey, 6th end. Maybe 6th or 7th end? 6th end.
6th end.
Yeah, it gets a little more difficult.
Well, nobody's made anything on this intern side look routine this end.
No, exactly. That'd be my problem. I'd be putting things in my head that maybe I need to somehow get rid of. Not throwing it hard.
Boy, this is starting to curl. He's close to the nose already, and it's still got a few feet to go. It's going to be the inside. How far is this going to roll? Makes the hit. Tyler Tardy ready on the brush at the tee line. It will roll across, and I think it stopped in time.
I think it did too. That was scary.
So a single point for Kenan Wipf here in the 6th end. He's got the 1-point lead now after 6. Kevin Cooey with last rock in the 7th. 2 ends left to play in this men's quarterfinal.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
For over 20 years, the Sandra Schmirler Foundation has granted more than $9 million to hospitals across Canada for life-saving equipment for premature and critically ill babies. In the past 4 years alone, $4 million has been granted thanks to the curling community's incredible generosity. The need continues year-round, and with your help, we can ensure every baby has the chance to grow up and become a champion, just like Sandra.
Join us this March for the House of Hearts Charity Bonspiel in Duluth, Minnesota. Help raise funds for Project Joy, who provides meals for hungry kids in our community. Every donation helps to ensure no child goes hungry. Join us and make a difference. Together, we can spread.
Seventh end of a 1-point game here in this men's quarterfinal. Kenan Wipf with the lead as we begin play here in the 7th. Kevin Cooey with last rock. Both teams playing this quarterfinal three-handed. Aaron Sluchinski's been gone at the doubles all weekend. Kai McCauley, I believe, was playing at the start of the event. He's having some knee issues now. We don't know if he's out for the whole event or just maybe taking a game off this morning, hoping to be on the ice later today. We know the other 3 players on the team are hoping to be on the ice later today, and there's 3 guys on the other side trying to do something about that. The center guard attempt looks like it just stayed for a piece of the center line, which means that it can't be ticked off the center line. Carrick Martin going to the intern side, play the come around. Jim, I see you were in the chat a little bit earlier. I was taking a peek through there in the break myself, and happened to notice that we have, I think it might be fair. Well, here we're going to touch the guard. We better just see what happens with this first. If it leaves the center line, that's a violation. He moves it just to the other side, but it's still touching center, so that's legal. And what I was going to say, Jim, it looks like we have what I think might be, you can maybe be the judge of this. Would it be fair to say the most famous dad in Canadian curling, Fred Cooey, is joining us? And we don't have to wonder which team he's cheering for.
No, I definitely think he's the most famous dad in curling for sure, and maybe the most popular dad in curling.
The Walter Gretzky of curling.
It would be scary to know how many games of curling Fred's watched his kids play over the last 30 years, 40 years, whatever it's been. It would be a big number. Both in person and online, so.
Nice line on this come around, but again, it's going to slide just behind the tee line. Chance for Carrick Martin to come down, sit on top of it. Well, before we get too far into this end, and a little heavy on that attempt, it comes down, just rubs off the side. We could talk a bit about what the teams are looking for here. For Kenan Wipf, he'd like to see a single point go up on the board. He doesn't care which team scores it. If he can force one, he's tied up with. If he steals one, he's 2 up coming home. That's either one's a good situation. For Kevin Cooey, though, there's a lot of teams that, and every team has discussed it, they'll know what they want to do, but are you thinking, Jim, would you rather, in this game in particular, looking at the ice conditions, would you rather be 1 down and have that last rock coming home? Or do you want to score your 2 points here and be 1 up without? That's the old question, right?
Yeah, and I think it's one of those questions that quite often people say, well, I always want to be 1 down with, but they don't always take that opportunity when it poses itself in games. So it does make you wonder. I think I'm okay being 1 down with, and it's that, but that means you got to blink the sand. And I think that's the way that Kevin will approach this anyways. I think he'll, starting now, probably will look to remove rocks and towards a blank end.
That's why the question mattered now, because it's this call is the one where you have to make that decision. At the very least, he's going to want to try to keep the blank alive. The situation in the center is not very good for him right now.
Yeah. And that last draw was so good too that it almost forces you into this decision, no matter what you want to do.
It is lined up to have a shot to get all 3 reds and probably get the guard off the center line too. He's got to hit just a sliver on the high side. This is going to be a little bit more than a sliver.
Oh, yeah.
Just straight peel the guard. There are scenarios where that same kind of question is one that Kenan Wipf could have to answer, though. Because, say, for instance, those 2 in the middle end up going away at some point in time. He might get into a situation where he's got to make a decision. Do we hit that one at the back, give them the chance to blank? Or do we play a draw somewhere, and if he gets 2, oh well, we're 1 down with coming home.
Exactly.
It's interesting to see how teams like to play this situation. And you see so many more teams nowadays, 1 down doesn't bother them that much. They want to have that last rock coming home. In the game that we've had here today, and I think the ice conditions or the rock conditions maybe play into that. We've already had 4 cricket numbers go up there. Yeah. So, I think both teams probably confident that if they have a chance to, with the hammer, they can generate a deuce. It means we could see some rather unorthodox calls later on in the end.
Yeah, Kevin's going to have Tyler come down and talk about this a little bit. Are you looking at some kind of movement on that top guard, not necessarily peeling that high guard, and that's
the guard is so high, it's almost not a guard. Is there a port? I think there might be a port.
Yeah, I think there's a port. Not a big one, but there is a port.
Tyler Tardy likes the double peel. It's not wrong.
No.
The only downside to the double peel is that you're then fairly committed to the blank. You're not going to ever have that chance likely to score 2.
No.
Good one here, and 2 is definitely in play. 3's not out of the question.
Yeah. If you don't get through the hole, I guess you want to hit the red one.
Yeah, likely. You could then tick the red one and probably move the yellow. I think he's got the board, though.
Close.
Oh, just rubbed.
Yeah.
If they knew they were on that outside guard, I'm a little surprised they didn't sweep for the curl.
Yeah.
I think they thought they were through. I thought they were through. It was curling.
Yeah. Yeah, it was very close and probably a worst case scenario as it turns out.
Yeah.
You haven't really done much here. We're going to play the out turn on this, which is a bit surprising to me. I don't know if I want to leave him that hole again to go through and hit and flop behind his yellow one. Unless he thinks he can get this to overcurl, like you mentioned earlier, but I don't think he's going that deep.
No, but you could definitely get them dead in line. And with a tight guard here, dead in line with the long guard, you won't be able to see very much of that stone at the top of the 8-foot.
Well, like we said before, it's you know, that guard that's out there now is very, very high. It doesn't look like it on the long view, but and you can't see it at all in the overhead. It's up there pretty far. This looks pretty good.
Michael Kenan was a little worried that he was light. He jumped up to help sweep his own rock. Gets a pretty good spot.
Yeah.
I think Cooey's going to have to look at now. Tyler Tardy throwing, and definitely we've seen him make a quad already, and with the way these rocks are lined up, he certainly could get all 4 of them moving again. He won't be light.
No. Just get the high one.
Did clip the top of the tighter one to the rings, moved it over, doesn't get it out, so no guards left on the 2 shot stones in the middle of the rings. It's a better situation for Cooey. I don't think it changes anything for Kenan Wipf. I think you've still got to throw the guard.
I think you're right.
He's indicating he wants it long, and you know what he's thinking. He doesn't want to leave the triple for Tyler Tardy. You got to be careful leaving it too long, because then you leave that port again that they could try to come in, tap, and roll behind the corner.
Yeah, you don't want to leave. You don't want to have a single rock in there counting when Kevin gets a chance to throw that last one, no matter where it's from.
Yeah, because that stone at the back of the 12 is the one that could end up being a 3rd point.
Yeah.
This has got a lot of line. They're going to need to get this tight if it's going to cover. Good job by Max Cinnamon to get it as far as they did, but it still left a good 1/3, maybe half open on that stone at the top of the 8-foot.
Yeah, much easier shot than he had a minute ago that he almost made. So.
Yeah, just not sure. Are you trying to... And I didn't really see a clear indication from Kevin. Are you trying to touch the second red or hit this thin enough to go over the top of the yellow? You don't want to jam it on that back yellow at all.
No, I think he's trying to make the hit and roll, which I think to make the hit and roll, I think he'll go over top of the yellow one.
Doesn't necessarily have to get it all the way out because he's got a double off the red now. I think it stayed for 3rd. So Cooey's got 2nd shot rock. Shot rock continues to be that stone just biting the back of the button.
Yeah, those 2 are very close at the back there.
They are, but there's a double off the red.
Yeah.
Not that he can throw a lot of weight at it right now, but...
I'm a bit surprised by this shot. I thought he might go basically guard the shot that's in the back of the button. And
yeah, I know what you mean. It's a lonely red back there, though. Granted, the 2 run backs that are yellow rocks are a long, very long runs, but...
Yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking more like a guard that's kind of almost a 12-foot sort of shot. And
Yep.
Yeah, but anyway, regardless, this is good too, as long as he can hang around.
Has to get by the guard, though, and it's not going to.
No.
Could put this into the rings. He's hitting it thick enough.
Yeah, it's not a real good shot. Just not 100% committed to that one. I don't think it just or they just totally misjudged the amount of ice you need to make that shot with that weight.
Kevin's definitely got a shot at the shot stone back of the 4-foot. All this discussion, though, is going to be about, okay, if we make this one now, how do we get that other red out of the back of the 12 to count a million?
Yeah.
You hit it right on the nose. I'm going through the discussion with them. I'm not sure what the right call is here. If you hit it right on the nose, pass it by the yellow, what does Kenan Wipf do? And then does it leave you a shot to get that red out of the back?
I think if the red is number 3 here, and Wipf has a choice, he'll hit the open one. If you make this a little bit and just flop in a hair, I'm not so sure that Wipf doesn't just hit the yellow that's in the just about biting the 4-foot there.
Well, if I'm Kevin Cooey, I'm happy if he's hitting that one because there's a chance he's going to leave me a double for 4.
Yeah,
it's a lot of room between them, but there's a chance.
Yeah, I think Kevin would have been happy seeing him playing the last shot he played. I thought that
that's valid.
Yeah, he had potential to put Kevin into a lot more trouble than he's in. If he had played the draw around, even went right to the 8-foot, half covering it would have been a better spot looking ahead one shot to me. But anyway, so we'll see what he does here. It's certainly a lot of discussion about it.
Yeah, they're talking about trying to roll under. My concern about rolling under would be that Kenan Wipf might just draw and try to sit right on top of it.
Yeah, and he may well do that. So,
yeah, if you're Kevin Cooey, you're hoping he hits something because there's liable to be an angle for a double. But the problem is the stone you're hitting here is behind the tee line. Your shooter's going to be behind the tee line, and that might be the best way for Kenan Wipf to get out at the end is to play a freeze.
Yeah, I would agree that it definitely would be.
You'd have to have ice water in your veins to play a freeze with this many yellows around, but it might be the shot, right?
Yeah.
Really nice line coming by. It does roll a sliver farther underneath.
I don't know if I'd try to move it. You try to move it, I think you're going to throw it a little too hard. You're just going to stay wide open, or more or less wide open.
Yeah, you can't flop into the open at all.
No. And I think he will with this shot. I mean, Kevin just threw that down there with basically the same shot he's talking about, more or less the same ice, and just maybe moved a hair, but
yeah, it's over further than it was for Kevin. You've got to get to, if he gets to the nose, the slash is probably there, but it's hard to clear the yellow at the, if you hit the nose, he's probably got the slash, but it would be hard to clear the other yellow.
Yeah.
Right now, if you're Kenan Wipf, you're happy if Kevin Cooey's only throwing a shot for 2.
Yeah. It's got to be really tight to this guard.
Yeah, this has got a lot of room and they're still sweeping.
Yeah.
Cannot afford to roll broomside.
No.
I think he got away with it well, or did he? Because now he moved that yellow. So now the slash clears a little easier. And actually, he moved that when he touched the stones. Yellow at the back is still third shot. This is for three. This is for three, even without playing the double.
Yeah, I didn't like that call. I don't think you could afford to do that. I think you had to play that as a draw or just a back 4-foot shot at most.
I thought they'd be playing the freeze myself. I was surprised when they decided to try to move it.
I mean, in most situations, it's a pretty good shot. I mean, you got it around there. You can only see about half of it, but that's not, you got to look at playing pretty good players here. So.
This is a very similar shot for Kevin Cooey to what he threw on his first one. Now he is looking to hit a different piece because he's got to pass it by the yellow at the back of the 8-foot. But, similar path. You'll have a pretty good idea how this is going to run.
Yeah, I think if you're a whiff right now, you're hoping that he manages to hit this red one on your red one, knows hitting on your red, or comes over too far and touches that yellow. Just so he can hold him to 2, but definitely an opportunity for 3.
Final stone is away. Kevin Cooey with last rock here in 7. Chance to make the delicate tap back on shot stone. Could be for 3. This looks close. Got to get by his own stone at the back. Does pass it between them. Put 3 points on the board for Kevin Cooey. He now has an 8-6 lead over Kenan Wipf after 7 ends of play. It'll be Wipf with last rock in the 8th. At least one end left to play. We can't rule out extras. It's been an exciting quarterfinal. We'll have the 8th end action for you right after this.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline, join the revolution.
Everything I've worked for, everything I've sacrificed, has led to this. It's out of your hands now. All the gold medals in the world can't help you now. You could throw the perfect rock and still miss, but it just takes one. You leave it all out there on the ice to leave behind a legacy.
This is it. It all comes down to this rock. The hours in the gym, the weeks away from my family. This is what I've been training for. And all those voices trying to tear me down, I'm here to silence them. We've given everything we have for a chance to get everything we want.
The field goal kickers have had a dramatic impact on this men's quarterfinal. It was that 3 points by Wipf in the 4th. Kind of was the story in the first half of the game, and it has put Kevin Cooey in some trouble in the second half, but now he picks up 3 of his own in the 7th. Has the 2-point lead coming home. Wipf does have last rock here. We'll see him throw up one corner guard, and we'll have to wait and see whether or not he plays the second corner. Depends really on how aggressively do you want to play to try to get 3 here. Or do you have to make sure you get your 2 and get a chance to play the extra? This has to stop or it doesn't matter. And it's not going to. Slides into the rings. Have to think when they were playing it that tight, they were thinking about playing 2 corner guards to that side anyway. Now, Kevin Cooey able to make the hit on the stone and biting the 12-foot. Wipf is going to have to play with just 1 corner guard now.
Yeah, he almost takes 3 out of the question with that.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Derek Martin with the hit rolls the shooter out of play. Another attempt now for the corner guard. Probably halfway is good now. I would think when they were playing the first one that tight, they were probably thinking about 2. When you know you're only going to have 1 to play with now, you might like it just a little bit higher. Nothing out of the brushing yet on this one either. Now, the other factor here is you will see this from time to time, and we have seen a few rocks do some funny things down the middle in these last couple of ends. If we're getting a little bit of fudge down the middle, a lot of times when you draw to the corner, it's still pretty quick. There's still pebble out there.
Yeah, true. Interesting call by Kevin. Quite often you see teams that throw this shot just right on top of the other shot, basically.
You did see that little bit of discussion was just how wide do they want this? And Kevin indicated we need this to stay in tight enough to the center line so that they can't come around the corner and be second shot.
Yeah.
Does what they were looking to do. Whip now will come around the corner guard. You bury it. I expect likely Kevin Cooey will peel the corner guard. You do have to bury it, though. Leave half exposed. These teams are so good at the quiet weight hits to come by a guard. It's pretty risk-free for Kevin Cooey. If you happen to rub the guard on the way by, you essentially still get the peel. This has got a lot of room early. Now starting to curl. Nice line now if they can get it deep enough to bury. Probably left a quarter. Kevin Cooey not even going to think about it. It's just straight peel on the guard.
So the winner of this game, Shawn, gets the winner of Van Amsterdam and Dropkin. Dropkin currently trails by 1, playing 7 in that game. The other 2 games out here, Maeda is leading balance, 6-5, playing 8 with hammer. And Davies is leading Morizumi 5-3, playing 7, with Morizumi having hammer. So all pretty tight affairs.
And those semifinals are all scheduled to go in about, I believe it's about an hour and 45 minutes is the scheduled start for the semifinals.
Yeah, it's 12:30 Mountain Time, so. Be 3:30 my time. Or 4:30 my time, I guess.
The guard is replaced, and here comes the peel. Got to be ready quick because Tyler Tardy's already in the axe.
It does not take long. No, I know.
Kevin better get that broom down.
Yeah.
If the rock's coming.
Yeah.
Expect one more guard anyway, and you might have to throw 2. You know Cooey's going to peel it, but you make the play on the yellows in the house too early. That red stone in the 12-foot is high enough you could leave a double and then the game's over.
Yeah.
So you can't make your move into the house too early. Dart's going to be long, but it does protect the third shot stone. Tyler Tardy not quite quick enough this time. We did get him on camera.
Yeah.
Makes the peel. And now you have to make a decision. Do you make your play into the rings now? Do you throw one more guard? If you make your play in the rings, what is it? He's looking at the freeze. Even with the freeze, you got to be careful where you put this, because Kevin Cooey will come off the red stone at the side into the yellow at the top of the 8 and have that one come into the stone you're about to throw.
Yeah, I don't know what the right decision is here. Part of me says I think I got to go one more time on the corner, but
well, you could. You wouldn't be wrong to go one more time on the corner. It's a question of how many chances do you want to give the Cooey team to play doubles.
Yeah.
But the other side of that is, too, you've still got 2 yellow ones in the forward you got to deal with. Boy, his line's great here. I don't know if he's going to get deep enough. Didn't. He would have had great line to get to the inside corner of that yellow stone. It just didn't get there. Kevin could hit the open one. He could hit the red that was just thrown. They're looking at, can we throw this quiet enough to pass it between the 2 yellows and sit 3? Which maybe they can.
Yeah, I feel like whatever hit he throws here, he won't be throwing light.
Well, if he's trying to sit 3, he will.
Yeah, I agree. If he's trying to sit 3, I just don't know that. I don't know that that's what is going to be. I had the rock count wrong. I think if we're right on our little screen here, then we're down to Kevin's first one. So
yeah, where it skips stones now. There's just 2 rocks left to come for each team. He is going to hit the mostly open red stone. I guess both of them are open, but it's tough to pass the other red between the 2 yellows without losing one. And I think he'd like to come across and move something. Now, it's tough to get to the red, so even if he moves the yellow stone, or roll right into the pocket, actually, the red and the yellow might not be bad either. I don't think he's going to whip this.
No. This one's curling really hard.
Yeah, he might just get the nose hit, and that's all right here, too. Because Kenan Wipf still has to do something in the middle.
And now he has to recognize that he is going to have to remove both those rocks probably, so he's going to have to he doesn't have the luxury of being too delicate on this.
Well, I mean, he's got the slash double on the yellows with his last one if he has to. So you could freeze the pocket here, so you leave the reds in a spot where Kevin can't really get any one of them out. He'd probably have to try to draw and sit 3 somewhere.
So it looks like just a little tap up on the reds, maybe.
Yeah, probably try to leave each red corner frozen on a yellow.
Yeah.
Wants to stay just a sliver to the high side of that red, tap it onto a freeze on the yellow, and have his shooter stay cornered on the other yellow. This is looking like it might be a little bit light, and If it is, it could overcurl. He cannot cross the red. Well, the double's there on the reds. Kevin doesn't have to throw it. If you draw sit a third one in, even if it's fourth, how does he kill the yellows? Still, I guess this is pretty safe. I don't see how you're jamming a yellow here.
No, I think and this one will be quite firm. So
yeah,
I think he's. I think you're right. I think he'll be okay.
Well, there's certainly no way to double jam here. I mean, if you jam one stone, I guess he gets a shot for the tie. But
well, yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, if you ever hit this, cross this over a little bit, you might set up a kind of a double. But something's going out.
Looks like he's got the nose hit. Clips both reds. That runs Kenan Wipf out of rocks. Kevin Cooey will pick up the victory here. Goes into the books an 8-6 final. The 8 then not completed. And Cooey will move on to the semifinal. One last look at this double. Needs to get just to the nose. If he's on the outside and jams it, Kenan Wipf might have had a shot for the tie. Comes up just enough at the end. You saw Kenan Wipf knew it was there. Signaled nice shot. Kevin Cooey moves on to play in the semifinals here in the men's division of the Saville Grand Prix. Men's and women's action continuing on, and about an hour and a half, the semifinals in both divisions. You can catch all of the action on Curling Stadium Edmonton. And again, commentary available on selected features. The finals scheduled for 4:30 local time this afternoon. We'll have all of the action for you. It was an exciting semifinal, and we'll expect that to continue through the two games later on today. My name's Shawn Joyce. Happy to have been joined by Jim Nix. We had an exciting game. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again for the semifinals in about an hour and a half.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.